So we all have things we think about doing, things we dream about accomplishing, places we imagine going, and hobbies or activities that we want to start. But when it comes to actually doing those things, sometimes we just stall out. We have a tough time making steps to actually getting started.
Well, our next guest can help. Welcome author Jenn Baxter. She wrote the book, Live a Fast Life. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for being here, too, by the way.
Sure.
I love this topic because I think a lot of people live sort of passively, right? Yours truly included. And we do have these thoughts and dreams and things that we think we'd like to try, and we sort of get in our own way. You say the first step towards really living the life that you want is to be intentional.
Right. Yeah, be aware, because really this whole concept sort of came up because I realized I was doing it myself, and I sort of realized I had these two lives. I had one that I lived in real life, where I was just going to work and sitting in traffic and doing these mundane things, and then I had this other life I was living in my head where I was learning to water ski and learning to swim and going on these trips, and it was like, why is there such a huge divide between this life I'm imagining and the life I'm living? So really you just have to be aware is sort of the first step. Just kind of snap out of that autopilot that a lot of us are just living in every day.
So be aware. Be aware. God, I think we're the same person, because I do that too. Like the reality of my life and then this person I dream of being, and they don't match.
We all do it, really, to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah. So be aware. Don't wait to live.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Yes. So that was a huge one, actually, in my own life, not necessarily for me, but I watched my mom wait to live, and she unfortunately ran out of time. So that was something that really kind of shook me up and woke me up, because I think a lot of people, we hear all the little phrases about live like you're dying and, you know, you never know how long you have, but when you see it actually happen, it's a really different thing. So you might be aware, but you might still be like, oh, I'll do that later when I retire or when the kids grow up, or, you know, you just keep putting it off till later, whereas you should be living and doing these things now.
Well, another thing that we put on hold is all those ideas that come to our head, all those entrepreneurial ideas that come to our head. I put those on hold because I'm just kind of living life day to day.
Right.
Is that the right thing or the wrong thing?
Well, I always like to tell people to really kind of get that stuff out of your head and get it down on paper. Even just taking that action of putting it down on paper is going to make it more real. And that can also sort of help you to decipher which things are just daydreams and which things are things that you really actually want to take action on. So really just kind of make that step to sit down and write some of these things out and just, you know, do some preliminary planning on how would I go about making these things actually happen.
Which kind of brings us to your next point, which is to take steps towards making those things that you've written down a reality.
And they can be baby steps. They can be little things, because people will usually say, oh, you know, when am I supposed to have time to fit this into my schedule? But say you always wanted to paint. I mean, you could go down to the local arts and crafts store and get yourself a little kit. And even if you do it while you're watching television or, you know, while you're taking care of your kids, just start doing these little steps. If you always wanted to start working out, you know, do weights while you're sitting there watching TV. Just kind of find ways that you can incorporate it into your existing schedule.
If I may be so bold as to say, I used to like look at people who were like super fit or whatever, or what it's the thing that maybe I thought I wanted more of, and I thought, well, it must be nice, you know, they just like they have all this time to do that, and I thought that person doesn't have more hours in the day than me.
We all have 24 hours.
Right. And so when you just get real about knowing, and if you're going to work toward a goal, something else might have to give, right? You might have to sacrifice somewhere else. You just have to be okay with that and just know that. We can't wait for the perfect time to create the thing that we want to do or get the body that we want or any of those
things. The perfect time will never come. So
never.
There's never going to be this perfect time to do it. Yeah.
You know, another big thing is not being distracted. This life brings you so many things, and it's easy to become distracted from your goals. How do you handle that?
Right now, we're just bombarded from every direction. I mean, Netflix and Facebook and just everything is coming at us. So you really have to, again, be intentional about this. You have to really be mindful of how you're spending your time, how you're spending your money, and really just make that choice that this is going to be a priority in my life, is I'm not going to sit and waste 2 hours on the internet tonight. I'm going to sit and, you know, work on this painting kit, or I'm going to work on my resume because I want a different job. It's just about making these things priorities in your life.
So true. It's good stuff. For more from Jenn, check out her blog. It's liveafastlife.com, liveafastlife.com. You can also go there and order a copy of her book. It's great stuff. I speak this language. Again, I'm trying to work to live more like this, you know, because I believe in everything you're saying. I think you're right on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenn. All right, well, coming up next this morning, we're